Hello, interweb friends. That I'm Gamer here with another game playthrough review. This week, want to go over the card game that will drive you insane, Cthulhu Flux. And if you may have noticed through some of my previous game walkthroughs, our family kind of likes Cthulhu games. Now, Cthulhu Flux is a game for 2 to 6 players. It does say ages 13 and up, and a game does take 10 to 40 minutes. A little bit more on the time there because that's quite a big difference. As you can see from the box, this is a well-played game for our family. It is from Looney Labs, and obviously it is an H.P. Lovecraft-themed game. Now, the game itself starts out rather simple. There is just one basic rule. It says that you draw one card, and it even tells you how to set up. Shuffle the deck, deal each player 3 cards, and choose someone to go first. The rules are draw one card and play one card per turn. After you've done that, it goes on to the next turn. Now, there are multiple different types of cards, and one of these is the new rule card. The new rule card can add the number of cards you draw, the number of cards you play, limit your hand, many things like that. Even rules on how certain cards are played. The game is evolving. It changes every time you play because you have these new rules that pop up and change the rules of the game as you're playing. The gist of the game is you have a goal, or for this, an ungoal. And in the goal, you have different keepers that you want to have played in front of you to win. You'll go ahead and collect and play the keepers in front of you. They may get switched up throughout the game. Some of these goals even want you to have a creeper. Creepers are typically not good to have in front of you, but you have to play them automatically. All of them say you cannot win if you have this unless conditions say otherwise. So if you have a creeper in front of you, unless the goal says the creeper is needed, you can't win even if you have all the other keepers. I had mentioned the goals. These are what you're trying to play to win. The goals switch. There's only one goal on the table at a time, so obviously you are working towards not only keeping a goal in your hand and playing it when you have the keepers out, but you also want to make sure nobody else is winning. The opposite of the goal is the ungoal. If you play an ungoal, what that means is if the requirements for the ungoal are met, everybody is driven insane and loses. Cthulhu wins. Now, there are some rules cards that change that up, but that, in general, if you meet the ungoal, everybody loses. The final 2 cards will go over the action card first. This you play during your turn, and you take whatever action it says, such as Dream Thief. Take a card at random from another player's hand and play it. If you can name something the player is frightened of, you take and play an additional card. They can have you draw cards, look through the discard pile, steal cards from an opponent, even shuffle up everybody's cards and deal them out again. The last type of card in the game is the surprise card. The surprise card is a card that you can either play as an action during your turn, or you can play it out of your turn during somebody else's. And depending on when you play it, depends on what this does. This one says, reveal this card anytime an ungoal causes the game to end. You win! Or during your turn, if you play this card, you are revealed as a secret cultist and miss your next turn. Little bit more on the rules as you get to play, whether they're investigators, whether you have doom tokens, things like that. As you play the game, the rules explain what you're needing to do rather well. It is a fun game. As I said, the box does recommend ages 13 and up. I will let you know, my kids played this at a younger age, but they had played a lot of different card games to begin with. As always, when you go for games for younger kids, Definitely number one, look at the content. Most of this is just cartoonish humor. Yes, it's based on Lovecraftian themes, but it's cartoonish. I mean, nightmare. You have this sickly person sitting there, and nightmares coming out. It's not too scary for most, at least for my kids. You definitely want to take that into account when looking at whether or not it works for your children. And again, content aside, it's whether or not the child can grasp the rules and grasp how to play. It's definitely a evolving game, as I had mentioned before. The rules change drastically, not only each turn, but each time you play, which, as I mentioned before, the 10 to 40 minutes. And believe me, we have played games that are shorter, and we have played games that are longer. It's a fun game to play, but it is definitely one that you want to set aside time. You might play it a few times through, or it may just, that time you set aside is for one game. It is, well, as you saw, the box is rather warm. It is a small game, equivalent of about 2 decks of cards, so it does travel well. Very portable. Definitely enjoy that, going out to grandma's or going somewhere for a weekend. It's one of these we can pack up easily and play. As for replayability, as I said, the rules change every game. It's rare that you're going to have the same rule set pop up and subsequent playings. It is a fun game to play. My kids like to, when we give them the option, they like to choose this game among some others. But this is one that they like to sit down and play. And my daughter, as I've mentioned before, likes to pick on other players during a gameplay. So this is a great game for that, because she can steal cards from people or things of that nature. As I said, we enjoy this game. Definitely recommend taking a look at it if you haven't. And if you're not into Lovecraftian themes, Flux is a wonderful system of games where there are multiple themes. There's a star theme. I saw a Monty Python theme. Just all sorts of different themed games. They either spoof some popular culture, or they imitate the popular culture. Each game is different. More than likely, you can find a version of Flux that will be enjoyable for you and your family. Don't really have much more to say on this game. Like I said, we enjoy it and hope that you get a chance to pick it up and try it yourself. As always, I do look forward to seeing you guys next week. If you like the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't and want to, of course, subscribe. And if you know any friends, family that would like this type of content, go ahead and let them know about it. I do try to release a video a week, usually around the weekend time, maybe a few days earlier, maybe closer to the end of the weekend. But I do try to get one video a week. Of course, with the holidays coming up, there may be some slight delays or some early releases there. But definitely try to get at least one video a week out. Well, until next time, I hope you have a great week, and I will see you later.